Hello, and welcome to the Personal Finance Breakout Session during the AATFCS Summer Conference, virtual conference of 2020. My name is Cecilia Gray, and I am the Family and Consumer Science teacher at Pottsville High School. I'm beginning my 26th year of teaching, and this makes about my 8th year recently to be teaching personal finance. Hopefully I'll have some tips for you that will help you this year if you're adding personal finance or if you're teaching a section as part of a FACS or a FACS investigation class. Hopefully you'll be able to pick up something today. The semester course, which unfortunately no longer counts toward a program of study in Family Consumer Science, but still is an elective course, and in some cases is the required course for graduation. At my high school, all of this year's seniors will have taken the semester course, and that's what my school did for our graduation requirement, but it was just this year's seniors. They rearranged the econ schedule where everyone else now has had econ with the personal finance embedded in it. I'm teaching 2 sections of personal finance this year, a fall and a spring, 7th period. And I also have online sections throughout the day for my seniors that aren't able to take it 7th period. There are 6 main standards in personal finance. They include the role of money, financial institutions, credit, insurance, investment, and financial goals. My main curriculum this past year has been NGPF, or Next Gen Personal Finance, but I've also used some econ lowdown, especially for the first unit on the role of money. And so those are the 2 that I'm going to kind of highlight along with EverFi, but there's a separate breakout session for EverFi if you're specifically interested in it. We'll start with Econ Lowdown. And this is from the St. Louis Fed, or the Federal Reserve, and they have a ton of resources for you. They have modules, they have videos, they have articles, they have 10-minute short things that you can do with your students. It's just, what you're looking for. Their online setup was a little cumbersome when I first started using it, but once you get in and get used to it, it makes a lot of sense. They also have had some online teacher training this summer. They will actually help you set up your classes, work with you on any questions that you might have, and have been very helpful. So that's probably all. I haven't checked, but it's probably archived, or they may have some additional trainings for you. One thing that Econ Lowdown has added for this coming year that I learned during the training was the Google sign-in feature. So if you are a Google school and you're using Google Classroom, then this is probably something that will be very beneficial. It allows the students, when they sign in to Econ Lowdown, when you provide them with that code, then they can sign in using their Google login. So that's one less that they have to remember. Now, for teacher accounts, we don't have that option. You still have to remember your username and password, but for students, at least that's one less thing you have to worry about resetting. Here is a real quick snippet of all the different topics that you can search for in Econ Lowdown. Banks, economy, government programs, money, those are the ones that I've really looked at, especially for that first unit or first set of standards on the role of money. But as you can see, they've got a lot of other things. You can narrow it by the age of your students. You can narrow it by the topic. And they have a really good search engine that lets you look through all the different resources. You can even narrow it down just to videos or whatever it is that you're wanting. So it is fairly user-friendly, and there's lots of topics that they've broken it down into. The next one that I guess want to spend the most time on, because I've used it the most, especially this past year, is Next Gen Personal Finance. And where to start? Well, first of all, if you do not have an account with Next Gen Personal Finance, It's ngpf.org. I suggest that you do step 1 and simply go in and create a free teacher account. Once you've done that, then you're going to have access to all the information. There's a lot. I'm going to try to break it down and so you're not overwhelmed, because the first time you go to their website, it really is a little overwhelming. However, what I found that I like the best about NextGen is that they are constantly redoing their curriculum. And this is free curriculum, but every year just about they're updating it, and it's very current. As soon as the 1040 EZ dropped, that was taken out of their curriculum, and they had lessons on just the 1040 very, very quickly. So I've been really impressed with how they've done that. So create your free account, then just start looking at it. Within GPF, they've got a video library where if you're just looking for some videos on a certain topic, easy to find. They've got the curriculum, and used to it was just for high school, but this year they've added middle school curriculum. So if you are a junior high teacher, if you're teaching FCSI or FACS at the junior high level or middle school level, definitely go and check that out. Those are the newest lessons that they have done, and they're great. They've put a lot of research. They've used a lot of former teachers in writing their curriculum, so I think you'll be impressed with it as well. Again, at the high school level, they have case studies that you can look at if you're wanting them to be able to apply or see how this would apply in the real world. They've got those for you. There's lots of different types of activities. Some are better within a classroom, but a lot of what they do can be online. If you're in a virtual situation, or if we have to move from the classroom to the online portal, then it can be done pretty easily with NextGen. Some things you'll be able to use, but the majority you will. If you are a Google Classroom, everything that NextGen does is written as Google Docs and Google Forms. So makes it very, very, very easy to put that into your Google Classroom. A lot of their Google Forms or Google Docs, I went ahead and made into Google Forms because that was easier for my students to use, easier for me to grade, but that's kind of just a personal decision on what you want to do. Some other neat things that they have is they have FinCap Fridays, which again, Nellie, which is a very young, energetic young lady, talks about different financial topics. It's really fun. You can make a whole day's lesson out of it, or you can just use it as your intro for the day. There are also questions of the day. You can look those up by topic, or you can sign up to their blog to have those sent to you every day. And the same thing with the FinCap Fridays. They try to make it as user-friendly as possible. Review materials. That's something that lots of times we're like, oh, I hate to put that together. Well, depending on what you like and what you use, NextGen has you covered on that as well. And you can search by topic. They have review set up in a Quizlet, in Quizzes, in Kahoot. They have links to Edpuzzles within the curriculum. And they're working right now, it's not ready yet, but they are working on Nearpod lessons to go along with all of their units, which we'll look at in just a minute. That's something new that they're doing. NGPF also recently gave grants to several hundred teachers for a Nearpod license. Those aren't cheap. It's about $12 or $15 a month, which can add up, but they're providing those. They're going to have another sign up for these free licenses in the fall. So I'd encourage you to be watching for those because it looks like a lot of us that may be a really good platform to use both in the classroom as well as if we have to do it virtual. Units, depending on what you're needing, checking, savings, types of credit, managing credit, paying for college, budgeting, investing, financial pitfalls, career, taxes, insurance, and they have some mini units which also includes some behavior finance, which is really good to start the year with. Make them think about why they spend money. Uh, you can, when you look at these units, you can look at curriculum for a whole year, for a semester course, for a 9 weeks course, and they even break it down smaller than that. So whatever you're needing or whatever is going to fit in your classroom, this is what you can use. I started out with the semester curriculum, and then I went to the 9 weeks curriculum and used that for my semester course, because it allowed me to kind of pick and choose a few more things that I wanted to weave in with it from other sources. If you have any questions, NextGen's great to answer them. You can send an email and they will get back with you definitely that day, and probably within just a couple of hours. They've great customer service, and any question you have or any suggestion you have, they love to have those as well, and are going to be very accommodating. And the next part about NextGen that I can't say enough about is their online PD. Again, it's also free. Currently, it's all virtual. They have had face-to-face pen camps in the past, which some of you may have attended, but due to our pandemic, they have switched to virtual PD. The hour goes by, and most of these are just an hour long. Some of them may be longer, maybe a 3-hour webinar or something, but usually just an hour long, and that hour speeds by. Now, granted, a lot of it has to do with using their curriculum. For example, brush up on homeowners and renters insurance. Yes, they're going to show you what they have as part of their curriculum that you can use, but it's also just a good refresher and reminder for you about that subject. However, if you think that you know all that you need about the topics in personal finance, they also have PD that's on other things, such as Nearpod, Google Classroom, quizzes, those different tech tools. They have those for you. They even have a help desk, a time period set up that you can get online with them and ask questions face-to-face via the computer, and they will walk you through how to fix that, or they'll answer that question that you might have. So it's great. I attended a lot of their PDs. When we went to this online format back in March, one of the first ones I took was on teaching just about everything I could remotely. They did a teaching budgeting remotely, teaching checking remotely, teaching taxes, everything. And for an hour, that was a good hour investment. Of course, it did count on my school PD as well, but I would have done it even if it hadn't counted, because it's just that great of a deal. There's several different, probably about 5 different people with NextGen that set up and run these virtual PDs. Everyone has been excellent. And again, always very accommodating. You have a chance to ask questions. You get that 1-hour PD credit, and they send that out to you the next day along with the certificate if your school requires that. Awesome. It's just wonderful. If the free PD is not enough to entice you, they also have incentives. Before we get to the incentives, this is something new that I wanted to talk to you about. And NextGen, because teachers have requested it, they added certification courses. They started these back the first part of June. I have completed the one on investing, and I'm currently taking the other 2, which they have a certification course in credit and one in banking and budgeting. Now, in order to get the certification, you have to attend the 9 hours of online class, and then you get an hour credit for taking the examination. So it's 10 hours total that you're going to get a PD credit for. As long as you score 80% or higher, then you get the certification. If for some reason you don't score an 80%, they have a review and you'll get a chance to take it again. So like I said, very accommodating. The biggest thing is you do have to have all 9 hours before they will let you take the exam. There's a set time for those, and they're in 3 3-hour blocks. Just like the 1 hour, the 3 hours go by really, really fast. They have a lot of different things built in. They really want you to understand and know the material. So that's something else that you might want to look at. I'm just trying to point out maybe some new things that you might want to do. And like I said, of course, it's free of charge. If you are interested in the certification courses, probably by the time you're viewing this video, the one that you're going to look at is for cohort number 4. And those sessions are going to begin in August. Registration will probably open mid to late July. And then once the course dates have been set, then they'll also set the exam window dates as well. Free, you're not going to lose anything by doing this. Maybe you don't want the certification, but you want an in-depth, more information on investing, or on banking and budgeting, or on credit. This is a great way to do that. And again, pick up those hours, those PD hours that you need for next year. But if free PD is not enough to entice you, they have what is called NGPF Academy, and it is based on hours. Each hour is a credit, and the virtual PDs that I was talking to you about and the certification courses count toward this. Now, what do you get? Well, they have been very, very generous, and they reward you for these hours with gift cards. Last year, they were Amazon gift cards, and so it probably is the way they will go again, although they haven't said. And they also have some really cool NGPF swag, whether it's a book bag or a hat or a t-shirt, stickers. They always try to send you something really cool. Water bottles. It's really great. So what does that mean? Well, as you can see on the screen, for the first 10 hours, the 10 credits you get a $100 gift card, and then they'll send you some swag in the mail. The gift card comes electronically to your email. The next 10 hours, so now you have a total of 20, you get a $125 gift certificate, gift card, and some more swag. 30 hours, you get a $150 Amazon gift card. 40 hours, $200. So you can see how not only is it great you're getting, professional development, but they're also gifting you and rewarding you for that time that you spent collecting those credits, which I think is really, really nice of them. And with Amazon gift cards, of course, you can use it for yourself or your classroom. I was able to buy a lot of things that I needed for my classroom with the Amazon gift cards they provided. So that was really, really nice. I didn't have to go beg and plead for some little things for my classroom. I could just use what I had earned for that. A couple of other additional resources I want to point out. For the investing standard or unit, stock market game. Some kids love it, some are kind of indifferent, but it really gives them a good introduction to the stock market. I've played it now for several years. I actually first started playing it when I taught 6th grade math and used it, as part of my math curriculum, but now teaching personal finance, I use it with it. I don't pay for my license for it. Every year I've applied for a grant through Economics Arkansas, and I've always been awarded that grant. And so that's how we do it. I don't ask the kids to pay. I don't ask the school to pay. But if you haven't checked out, if you're not familiar with Economics Arkansas, that would be another great resource that you should check out. A lot of you possibly in the past have played the H&R Block Budget Challenge. It is now just the Budget Challenge, and they've kind of revamped it, and there's some additional options that you have within that game. I have not played it since it went from free to costing $25 a student. So I can't really tell you if you're going to get enough bang for your buck if you were to ask for that. But there are grants available, and I actually have forgotten I applied for one last year back in like August. And in March, they let me know that I had received a grant to play the Budget Challenge. And did I want to play with my students during the spring of 2020, or did I want to wait for this next coming school year? And fortunately, I opted for this coming school year. So that's something that I'm also going to incorporate in my fall personal finance classes when we get started and go back. And I'll be able to tell you more about it then. However, if you're looking to spend some money, this might be something that you would want to look at. Otherwise, keep your eyes open, make an account with Budget Challenge, and then apply for those grants. Industry certifications that go along with personal finance are WISE, and to administer that certification, you do have to be WISE certified yourself. I don't know what currently the State Department is doing about that certification, but chances are there's probably somebody in your building, business teacher, another FACS teacher that would have that certification. If they don't, however, the state also recognizes the EverFi financial literacy course, and students that pass it also have that recognized industry certification. You may want to look at that one instead, simply because it is free, and the students can redo any of the units that they don't pass, they don't score 70% on, they can go back and redo those. So if they want that certification, they pretty much are guaranteed to get that if they'll just go back and redo any unit that they might need to do. So kind of coming to the end of our 30 minutes here, just want to give you some social media suggestions. If you have not joined the Facebook group that's associated with NGPF, I encourage you to do it. Finlet Fanatics, they're great about sharing resources in regards to personal finance. They're great to answer questions. I mentioned that I'm switching, I've converted a lot of my Google Docs to Google Forms. There was somebody on there that had already done several of the units and they shared those, no problem. And that was wonderful. And I shared the ones that I had done in return. So it was kind of nice. And also some Facebook pages that I've been using or participating in or following are listed below. I won't read all those to you, but these are some that you might want to look at. I've been really trying to figure out what kind of new technology, things that I can do to catch my students' attention. And so the Miss Talk Techie has been really great. She has good short instructional videos that are great. And then also, if you've not noticed, the emojis are kind of in right now, at least I hope they're still in, because I've been trying to figure out new ways to do that and incorporate that interest into some of my presentations with my students, as well as into my Google Classroom banner, my forms. And that's really when I first started, was in the spring, and I was doing just kind of a check on you weekly check-in with my students. And I was fiddling around with the Bitmojis, and I plugged some of those in. And one of my students commented, I only answer and look at this to see what your new Bitmoji looks like. Okay, that's cool. If I got one kid that's interested because of that, I'll keep throwing a few things in and switching that up to hopefully get their interest. So if you're interested in that, there's two at the very bottom, that pages that I follow. The high school Bitmoji users is great, especially for high school. There's been some facts, ones that have been shared on there. The big one is the Bitmoji craze for educators, but a lot of that is elementary. But they're great to help. They have a ton of members. They kind of exploded with all the pandemic and online learning going on. So wrapping it up here real quickly, in addition to this video, there are some handouts that I will pass on to Molly, and I'm sure she'll have those links available for you. And the first one is the Personal Finance Standards. And it has resource links underneath it, which will take you directly to that page where it's located to kind of help you out a little bit. And then the other one is the NGPF, as I mentioned, I use that curriculum primarily. So I've matched their units to our Arkansas standards, and they already had the Jumpstart standards in there. So I included those as well. Websites I'd encourage you to look at your Federal Reserve, look at Econ Lowdown, and look at NextGen. If you have any questions, my contact information is there on the screen. And also, you are more than welcome to do the Q&A on the following day, the live Q&A, and I'll be there and happy to answer your questions. Or if I don't know the answer, I'll try to find it out real quickly while somebody else is asking a different question. Please don't hesitate to contact me if you have any questions. Have a great summer, and hopefully we're going to have a great school year as well.